So we're going to talk a little bit about circadian rhythm again. Again, not super high yield, but it's really interesting. So all humans have a biological clock known as the circadian rhythm. Circadian rhythm runs on a 24-hour cycle with conscious alertness varying at certain points in the day. Because of modern lighting, a lot of people actually say that the circadian rhythm runs on it's closer to a 25-hour cycle just because of the invention of artificial lighting and electricity. It sometimes kind of messes up our circadian rhythm. So a lot of people now are saying that a 25-hour cycle is actually a little bit more accurate when describing the circadian rhythm. And it could also describe, reasons why we feel so tired, in a world that has artificial light. So at night, heart rate, respiration, and body temperature all dip naturally as a part of our circadian rhythm. And an individual's energy levels increase during the morning. So we're waking up, we're going to increase our energy levels during the morning. We sort of dip in the afternoon. We hit this sort of relative low. That's usually when people take breaks from lunch. Europe, they take siestas, they take a couple of hour break, maybe a nap in the middle of the day, just because productivity and energy levels naturally dip in the afternoon. So you could take a quick nap, maybe have a cup of coffee. In America, we don't really take naps in the morning, we just work through. And then after that, usually your levels pop back up, circadian rhythm increases a little bit, and your energy and alertness levels, they remain elevated until nighttime before sleep when we start to wind down for the rest of the night. Circadian rhythm can vary from person to person, and it's based on factors like age, exposure to light. So like I was talking, the artificial light, for example, is altering all of our circadian rhythms, and age affects it as well. So for example, a 60 or 70-year-old person is more likely to wake up at 5 a.m. and fall asleep at 7 p.m. compared to a teenager. They have more of a delayed rhythm where they're probably going to get up at 11 a.m. noon, and they're probably not going to feel tired until 11 p.m. midnight. So circadian rhythm is not exact, it's not definite, and it definitely changes with the environment. Okay, so light and hormones, sort of the way that we regulate circadian rhythm. So exposure to light can increase alertness and suppress the urge to sleep. Light is really the major way that our circadian rhythm is dictated. And that's why people who are blind sometimes have problems with their circadian rhythm. They can sort of get out of funk because they don't have that ambient input with lighting. There's a condition called non-24, specifically with blind people, where the lack of that information coming in because of the light messes up their circadian rhythm. So we turn to different methods to sort of keep that circadian rhythm on track, be it medications, taking melatonin on a schedule, things like that try to get the circadian rhythm back on track without having to use external light. So normally, though, as light is detected in the retina, it activates a section of the hypothalamus, which is known as the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or the SCN. Definitely know the SCN, know that it's involved in circadian rhythm, because you may see that term on the MCAT, and it's always good to know what those super complicated brain words mean. So the SCN is responsible for coordinating physiological changes with the time of day. Basically, it just takes how much light is in the environment, and it tells us if we're sleepy or not. When nighttime falls, there's a decrease of ambient lighting. The SCN stimulates the pineal gland to release melatonin. I'm sure everybody has heard of melatonin, is familiar with the increase in popularity of melatonin supplements recently. But melatonin makes the body tired before sleep, and it remains elevated throughout the night. So at night, when light decreases, the pineal gland secretes melatonin, and it remains in your body, and this helps us sleep. So as light increases in the morning hours, melatonin levels are reduced, they are suppressed, the pineal gland stops producing it, and the SCN stimulates the release of cortisol, which is that stress hormone that we've learned about. It's produced by the adrenal glands. It's involved in your stress response, but it's also involved in the natural wake cycle. So in the morning, cortisol is released, and it's actually responsible for you waking up in the morning. So cortisol increase, melatonin decrease. The result is that we wake up. So interesting stuff, not too difficult conceptually, but it's a very good idea for you to know that. So this is the only review question that I have for this lecture. So read it over, take about 2 minutes, pause the video because I'll go over it in about 5 seconds. Okay, so which of the following is our most consistent signs of an individual falling deeper asleep? So the answer is C, 2 only, and we'll go over it. So 1 says a change from alpha waves to beta waves. So if we're falling deeper asleep, we just have to think about what alpha waves are and beta waves. So alpha waves are those relaxed waves. They're a little bit bigger than beta waves. They're the waves that come when we are feeling relaxed, when we're about to drift off into stage 1, whereas beta waves are, they're sort of congruent with active thinking. So if we're going from alpha to beta, we are not falling deeper asleep. We're actually increasing our cognitive arousal and we're increasing our awareness. So 1 is not correct. 2, dozing off to enter stage 1 of NREM sleep. That would be correct because when we doze off entering stage 1, we're switching sort of from alpha, those alpha waves to theta waves. And theta waves are indicative of stage 1 of entering NREM sleep. So 2 would be correct. 3, light suppresses the production of melatonin. If light is suppressing the production of melatonin, there's a good chance we are in early morning and the individual is actually coming out of sleep. So again, 3 would be incorrect. And 4, as night falls, the production of cortisol increases. Again, when night falls, the production of cortisol doesn't increase. It actually decreases, and then cortisol increases in the morning when light increases. So 4 would be incorrect as well. It's inconsistent and it's just incorrect. So the only correct answer out of all of those Roman numerals is number 2. So the only answer that is consistent with that would be C, 2 only.